Yo, what's going on guys? Rhys here from Stoic, and in this video we're setting up our local environment for the Plutus Pioneers Program. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so the Plutus Pioneers Program started the third cohort, and a lot of people are having trouble setting up their local environment. The instructions are assuming that we already know a lot of stuff, like how to use a lot of the things that they recommend, like nicks and stuff, so people have been having issues. You can set it up in a couple of different ways depending on what operating system you use or what you're comfortable using. In this video, I'm going to be using a virtual machine. I don't recommend cloud servers because you've got to pay for them, whereas a virtual machine, if you've got the space on your computer, you can run it. They recommend using WSL, which is like a Linux environment on Windows. Is basically a virtual machine. You could do it with like hypervisor or something like that. I'm going to be using VirtualBox. That literally doesn't matter. It's whatever your preference is. Okay, so the setup for the VM. I've got 8 gigs of RAM. Hopefully that's enough. I have no idea. I can always resize it if I need to, like change it. I've gone for 100 gigs of storage because again, that should really be enough, right? 100 gigs is quite a bit. And yeah, so then I've installed, I've got Visual Studio Code running, and we're going to use VSCode because it's a nice place to have multiple shells open, and you can use the file explorer to actually open up files and write files in there as well. So you don't need to worry about Nano or Vim or anything like that. You can just write straight into it. So it's quite a nice environment for that. So we're going to set that up. So let's have a look at VS Code. Here we are. The first thing you need to do with VS Code is connect it to your virtual machine. So you need to go to, if you haven't already, you need to go into extensions by here, right? And I've already got it here. We need to install this remote development app. Okay, and when you do that, just install. It's by Microsoft, and then you have the WSL option if you're going to go that route. I'm going to do the remote SSH so that you can see I already have that installed. You just install them and then it's done. And this allows you to SSH into a server or your VM, or your VM in this case. So get them in, install them, and then you're going to end up with this little thing by here called Remote Explorer. It's going to create this new tab, and in here you can add an SSH target. So I already have my Plutus VM, but you would just go SSH I. Okay, so you just need to put that regular stuff. I'm going to assume you know what that is. I've already done mine, so I'm just going to not do that. But what that does, Visual Studio Code then saves that so that you can access it. Look, it says SSH hello at Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to go straight to this Plutus here. So I don't need to do that again. And now that's stuck up there, isn't it? So right? So because I already have this, I'm just going to click on this little folder on the side, right click it, or right click on Plutus, and it'll say connect to host in current window. You can open it in a new window if you want, so you have your local and your server instance if you need it. I mean, you shouldn't. Connect in current window. So now it's going to say connecting, and in the bottom left it's going to say SSH Plutus because I've connected my Plutus VM. I don't need this getting started tab. What I need is a terminal. So I'm going to go new terminal. Now, we need to set up a couple of things. So the first thing, update your server. So like sudo apt update. Make sure you've got Git installed and curl. You need to have both of them. Normally, if you spin up a server now, like if you just make a new Ubuntu instance, they usually have Git and curl installed. So you don't really often need to worry about it, but it's good just to check or just to install. Okay, and I'm gonna share some destructions in the description, so you can just go through this and kind of copy the commands if you don't have them already. But before you do, actually install the Haskell plugin as well, just because you might need it. So it's good to have the Haskell plugin on VS Code. Now, install Git, install curl, and then we want to clone IOHK's Git Plutus app repository. So you want to go Git clone and then get that URL. I have it on a different window. I'm just going to go and grab it. I'm going to put this in the thing, but that's it. So it's input output hk/plutusapps.git. And before I forget, I'm actually going to put that in my Obsidian right now so that I can put it in for you. Obsidian's a great bit of software, by the way. I love it for writing in Markdown. So you need to clone that. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. And the other one you need to do is the Plutus Pioneer Program repository. So you can just go on to this, by the way, guys. And you can clone that. And that's the other one, Plutus Pioneer program.git. And I'm also going to put that in Obsidian because I'm going to definitely forget to do that too. So you've got them. Now I actually also clone Plutus. So if I go ls here, you see I've got the Plutus file folder as well, but that repo, but you don't need that. That's the old repo. You want Plutus apps and Plutus Pioneer. Okay. So the next stage, the next thing that we're going to do is we need to check out the right version. Okay. So, oh no, we need to install Nix. And there's this very specific command that we want to do because we only want a single user. We just want you to be accessing it. What Nix can do is make an absolute load, like loads of users, which we want to avoid. I didn't realize this. I found this on a document hidden away somewhere. So a big shout out to whoever did that because that's really handy. And you can install, literally use this command. That'll install Nix with the no daemon. And then normally you have to reboot your server, but if we can avoid it, we want to not reboot the server because, let's face it, it just takes time, right? So then we need to run this Nix script, this Nix shell script. Now, when you do that, you see this has got this your user. You need to change that. So for me, it's Plutus, right? Oh, that didn't work because I'm in shell, aren't I? I'm not in a text editor. What an idiot. Plutus. Yeah, so I'd go here and then I'd run that, bam. And what that'll do is it will enable me to just run a Nix shell right away. We don't have to reboot the server, which is just handy. Okay, so that's that done. The next thing is to set up the Nix cache, the IOHK cache for CABAL, so that we don't have to build the entire CABAL library. Basically, it takes hours. I actually did this. It took like 3.5 hours or something. And then me being an idiot, I did it again. So then it was another 3.5 hours because it just went through everything again. I was like, what's going on? Surely you've already done it, right? But yeah, so what we need to do is we need to create a folder. So we need to sudo make directory. And I had to do this individually because, I don't know, my server was being a goose. So we want to go here, config, Nix, and we got to make these directories, right? Because we don't have them. And then you're going to make a file. So we're going to just sudo cd into that. So I'm going to go .config, Nix, and then we're going to ls, and you can see this Nix config file. You need to create this Nix config file. So I like nano when I'm doing it here. So I'm going to go here and then Nix dot. I literally can't spell today. And it's going to ask me for my willies. Okay, and then you're going to put these two things in. Okay, I'm going to put these in the description as well, but this is basically the IOHK's cache for the Nix shell, so that we basically just have the stuff we need and everything's mostly built already. So that's really important that we have that. So Control X and get out of that, okay? In the description below, guys. So next, we just want to make sure we got the right Nix. So we're going to go Nix version, and 2.5.1 is obviously the latest because that's what we've got installed. But just make sure we've got something like that. If you got something else, you might have installed a different one. But hopefully you've got 2.5.1. So there's a couple of things that we need to do now. We need to check out the right version of the Plutus apps. So we need to make sure that we're using the right version, the right commit of the repository. Then we're going to build a Nix shell, and then we're going to go and run CABAL build in week 1 so that we're building the right contract, basically. We're building everything in the correct way for the right playground, because you can build different versions of it with GitHub because you have different versions, different commits and stuff. So we want to make sure we're basically running the right ones. It's really important that we do that. So we're going to go cd. We're going to go Plutus apps, right? Here, and then this is one of the advantages of of VS Code is we can open a folder. So here we want to go to the Plutus Pioneer Program, and so we can go here, just click on that, and then we go in code and week 1, and in here we're gonna have, oh, that was wrong. We just want to open this week 1 folder in the Explorer. Okay. Oh, it's got rid of my shell. Well, that's annoying. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're just going to reopen that because we hadn't done anything, so we're cool. We've just installed Nix and we've done the cache. So in this CABAL project folder, we're going to have the right commit that we need to check out, the right tag. Yeah, so here, this is the right tag. Now, some people have had an issue with this, so you might need to do a different version. I'll put that in. It's like a 7F5 tag, basically. So that might work for you. I think the issue actually comes from something else. The issue people are having building the playground, but you know, that seemed to have solved it for people, whether they just figured out what they were supposed to be doing or what. We're not going to do that, though. We're going to do it right. So that's one of the advantages of VS Code right there. So I'm just going to open that terminal again. The annoying thing is now it puts me here, but that doesn't really matter. Oh, look, I've got a shell. Okay, I'm just going to delete all these because I apparently have stuff running already. Get rid. Cheating. So we're going to open the shell. Okay, and then I'm going to go cd, because I don't want to be here. I want to be in Plutus apps. And I'm going to go git checkout, and then I'm going to control V. I didn't copy it. So what I need to do is select this, copy, right? So I'm going to go git checkout, and then I put that in. Bam, enter. Head is now at, and that means we're in the right place. So from here, we can now go and build, we can start a Nix shell. So we're going to go Nix shell straight in there. And we don't need to reboot our server to be able to do this because we ran that extra command, right? So it's going to do this, going to think for a minute. This will actually take quite a while when you guys do it for the first time. But once you've done it once, it generally builds a lot faster. So that's good times. I'm actually going to open, we're going to need a couple of shells. So I'm just going to open another one while we're waiting. Okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to cd back into the Plutus Pioneers. And we need to go code and week 1. Okay, and now here we can go CABAL build. Okay, this is going to take like 10 minutes. I've already done it, so it says like, up to date because it's already ready. But for you, it's going to take a little bit longer, and that's okay. It's only going to take 10 minutes. It's not going to take 3.5 hours like it took for me. Now we've got that, we can cd back into Plutus apps. And actually, when we've done the CABAL build in our Nix shell, in that week 1, we can do the CABAL REPL as well. So you'll need the REPL to do things like check time, check what the time value is. So that's important to know. You can like query stuff in the REPL and it will explain things to you or give you the right data. So that's handy to know. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go Plutus apps. Right, so we need to build the Pioneer Playground, but other than querying the REPL, there's another thing we can do which is quite handy to know, and that is going build and serve docs, okay? And this is going to launch a web server which enables us to basically look at all the documentation for Haskell. So that it's got it here, we can open in browser. Another advantage of another advantage of VS Code. Pops that open and we have this record by here, so we can just access that whenever we want. It's going to open it in a browser, so you can have a little look at that here. Let me just switch so that it opens up this this Plutus documentation. And what Lars was saying is this isn't the best thing, right? Actually, what we want is we want to go here and go haddock, and what that'll do is actually pull up the, if I zoom in, look, actual documentation for everything. So you can search stuff in here, or you can just click on stuff and it'll like open it up and you can see everything, what all the different functions and how everything's working, which is really, really handy. All right, but now back to VS Code. So we need to have a new bash shell because now I've done that. Cool. So we're back in Plutus apps, and then we go Nix shell and start another Nix shell. Hopefully that doesn't take long. There we go. Thinking. So in VS Code, it's nice just to be able to switch between or run multiple shells, and it's really handy just having it here. I know like you've got the Windows terminal, which is great by the way, where you have the tabs, but I like this environment, especially being able to actually have a file open as well and having the file explorer. It makes it so much easier than running like text editors in the terminal. So we've got this Nix open. Next on the agenda, so I'm just going to get rid of, we don't need that text document anymore. So we're just going to get rid of that. I'm going to open this right up. Right, so now we have to actually build the Plutus Playground local environment. So we're going to go back into the Plutus apps in our Nix shell, and we're going to go cd, well, I'll show you here. We need to go into this Plutus Playground client here, yeah? So I'm just going to Control C because it's just easier. cd Plutus Playground client, and then we need to run Plutus Playground server. Okay, it's going to say Plutus Playground server for development use only, and that's what we want. Yeah, we want to have this server running, so that's cool. It's going to take a while to do that. Hopefully it isn't very long. It's going to say interpreter ready. Okay, it's going to do a lot more building and doing things, all right, normally, but because I've already built it, it's just ready to go. So now I've got that. We need to open another bash shell. Right, so we open up a new bash shell because we need to let that run, and we're going to go back into our Plutus apps folder. Okay, and then I'm going to go Nix shell once more, wait for that to sort itself out, and then we're actually going to launch the playground. So bear with me 2 seconds. We're going to be in the right thing. We need to go back into that Plutus Playground client folder. Yep, and then we're going to run npm start like this. And again, this is going to take a couple of minutes, but hopefully once you've done it once or twice, it'll load a lot faster, and then we'll be able to access the Plutus Playground from our browser. It's going to open up another port, so you'll see it here. It'll give us a little notification just by here in the corner as well, and then we'll be able to just click on that and access it. Now, one thing that people have an issue with, that it pops up this little notification, one thing people have an issue with, let these modules build, is clicking on this and it not working. All right, so that's probably gonna happen, right? And we're just gonna have a quick look at that because I want you guys to see what I mean. So I'm gonna full screen this. Okay, see, it's not working. And then people are like, oh my God, it didn't work, right? And this actually stumped me a while. But what we need to do is we need to go HTTPS because it automatically goes HTTP, which is wrong. If you go HTTPS, it'll just give you this, it's not secure. Oh, it didn't. It didn't give me the not secure. You have to say just advanced and then allow you to go there because it'll say it's not a secure website. But that's okay because it's a local environment, so we kind of know what's going on. And this will give you the Plutus Playground. And once you have this, you can actually compile code yourself. So in our week 1 in the Explorer, you can go English auction here. So we can open this up. I'm going to get rid of these terminals because we don't really need them now. And this is the actual contract that we're working with for week 1. Okay, the English auction. It's not in here. So what we do is we just start here and we just select all these things. We need to miss out this header here, okay? And then we just go here and just, oh no, it's going to move it. So we need to miss out this module bit here. So you can just start on import, drag all that down. Copy that, and then we can go back over here. Then we can go back over here into, so I'm just going to full screenize this because we don't need anything else now. And you can delete all of this. Insert our contract, and then you can, now it has the contract in, we can compile that. And this will allow you to simulate it, so you'll be able to test inputs and outputs and like test the functionality of the contract and like kind of poke holes and try and break it, basically. This is how you'll test your contracts. This is the environment we're going to be working in the Plutus Pioneers program. If you're interested in building contracts now, if you're interested in building contracts now, or you just want to follow along with the Plutus Pioneers program, this is how you can do it. It's the simplest way, as far as I know, to actually get set up. I know it seems really complicated, and it kind of is. It's kind of overly complicated, but that's it. Once it's compiled, you can simulate, and you'll have your things here. And we can just do what we need to do for these, for the contract. So at the minute, we can add as many wallets as we want. You can change the values of this. This is the token that it's talking about. So you kind of, because the whole auction thing is based around auctioning an NFT. So you only want one of these extra tokens, all right, which Lars explains in the videos. You can check them on YouTube if you just want to follow these along. And then you have your different things that you can do for each of the wallets, and you can add wait times as well. Okay, if we go start here, it'll say SP deadline. Okay, and this is what we need the REPL for in this example contract. We need to find out what the time is. So in the contract, in Lars's example, he gives you like an 11 slot or 11-second time to run through this. So if you've seen any of my other contracts example, we've just been working in like single slots as a measurement of time. But this is actually based on, the Plutus works on, not on slots, technically, it works on actual time. So you need to use the REPL to get the right time. He explains how to do that in the video. I'm not gonna show you because I'm not gonna walk through the contract now. We've learned to set up the environment. That's the whole purpose of this video. Guys, get involved, all right? Because this, getting involved with Plutus is going to be something that will help you get a head start in building dApps, in building contract platforms and stuff for Cardano. That's the whole point of us doing this thing. You know, that's what it's for. One thing to remember, going by a lot of feedback or a lot of questions and issues people have struggled with, is to make sure that you go HTTPS localhost for this 8009. It doesn't matter so much for the documentation site when you go to the haddock, okay? That's not such a big issue, but for these ones you do need to HTTPS for this for the Plutus Playground. Otherwise it's not going to work, okay? Right guys, that's it for this video, how to build the Plutus Playground in a local environment and kind of get started with the Plutus Pioneers Program. If you like what you've seen, as always, give us a like, subscribe for more Cardano and Stoic videos every week, delegate to Stoic Pool if you're not already, and support the pool. Earn yourself some tasty rewards. Otherwise guys, I'll catch up with you in the next one. See you then. Oh, why can't I literally can't spell again?